Hi folks, I'm Labrin Allen, the founder of the Natural Health Clinic. I have a question. Are you drowning in water? We're going to come back, talk about the answer to that question right after this. Please stay tuned. And we're back. So water, especially this time of the year when it's so incredibly hot, and it really has had several, actually it seems like all summer, the days have been very, very hot here in Texas. And all we ever hear about, oh, you don't want to become dehydrated, drink plenty of water, drink water constantly. You know, water should be coming out of your ears, basically. And many times I've found when I'm in with a client and we're speaking about water that they act with puzzlement, even maybe a little cognitive dissonance when they hear what I have to tell them about water. Now, of course, water is necessary for the body. We all know that. But we always hear that the more water we drink, the better it is and the healthier we'll become. And that really begs a question. The question is that true? Well, to start learning if that is actually the case, let's talk a little bit about what hydration actually is. And hydration really does not start with water. Does that come as a shocking surprise? It really starts with minerals, otherwise known as electrolytes. Now, electrolytes, what they do, one of the things that they do, is that they help fluids get through these little channels in the cells. Now, those cells have to have electrolytes both inside of them and also outside of the cells as well. So what happens is that the electrolytes inside the cells basically draw the hydration through those channels into the cell, and the electrolytes that are outside of the cell help to draw fluids to the cell so that the process that I just detailed can occur. So in hydration, really, even more important than water, as you'll soon see why, the minerals are the most or paramount thing that we have to have, and we have to have them in proper ratios as well. Now, there's many minerals that are necessary to have proper electrolyte balance. There's actually 9 minerals in all. One of the most important, you're already poo-pooed against, and that is sodium or salt. Salt is one of the most important factors for proper electrolyte ratio or balance. Now, going back to what's healthy, in fact, it seems like many times when people start on the journey to become healthier, the first thing that they do is drink more water. And many times clients will tell me very proudly, oh, I'm starting to drink more water, and that's good. It means that they're looking towards their health and are wanting to optimize how they're feeling and etc. But I wonder if they know that there's actually a medical condition caused by drinking too much water. Did you know that? Well, in fact, there is. It's called hyponatremia. Now, hyponatremia is actually potentially fatal. It's life-threatening potentially. It can cause brain inflammation, coma, several other things as well. And the reason is that the person has overdrank water to the point that they no longer have the electrolytes necessary to carry that fluid into the cell. So you can't even call water hydration. They carry the fluids, water being one of them, into the cells. So when you drink too much water, you are actually removing those electrolytes both inside and outside of the cell, and it isn't allowing the process of hydration to actually occur. Now, one of the most important things is that when people increase their water intake, they actually start bypassing their normal thirst mechanism. Meaning that in order to drink the 3/4 of a gallon or whatever it is that they're trying to drink, they just continually drink, sip on it throughout the entire day, and then pee up a storm at night. I mean, that's basically what they're doing. And there have actually been research done showing that when a person bypasses the normal thirst mechanism, that starts creating problems moving into the hyponatremia. Now, the research that I am getting this information from is mostly done with long distance runners. And of course, you can be sure that they're told to drink, 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 drink. Well, water, that is, not alcohol. We'll talk about that in a minute. And again, the research has found that when these long distance runners over consume water, they start having problems. So, an important point as far as hydrating yourself properly, truly hydrating yourself, is do not bypass the normal thirst mechanism. So let's talk about things that are not hydrating, because frankly, I don't know many people, including clients that I work with, who only drink water and that is the sole form of fluid that they ever consume throughout their lifetime. So there are things, actually most of the other things besides water that people consume is actually dehydrating. So that is something to consider. Now, what are some of those things? Well, any kind of caffeinated beverage. So if you're drinking coffee, tea, caffeinated sodas, those things are, or energy drinks, those things are heavily caffeinated and they do create dehydration. Alcohol. Alcohol is very dehydrating. That's why if you consumed quite a bit of alcohol in the evening, woke up the next morning, you have the dry lips, you have the headache. Those things are all part of the dehydration scenario. Now, what about fruit juices? And you think, wow, fruit juices, they're dehydrating? Well, I want you to consider diabetics. What is one of the main symptoms that diabetics have because of their high sugar levels? Well, thirst. Thirst and sometimes excess urination. And the fruit juices are really just chocked full of fructose, which is very similar to glucose. And in fact, fruit juices can be very dehydrating. Now, there's something that people commonly drink, especially if they're outside or in sports or, some kind of scenario like that, or they think that they're becoming dehydrated. There's something that people drink that is actually more dehydrating than any of the things that I just spoke of previously. I'll give you one guess. Have you figured it out? It's actually these electrolyte sports drinks. That's right. Now, if you think about it, what is the main composition of these electrolyte sports drinks? Well, obviously they have minerals, right? So that's good. You need the minerals, both, again, inside and outside of the cell in order to draw this hydration to the cell and then draw the hydration into the cell. However, what else do these electrolyte sports drinks, not to mention any names, what do they also have in excess? Of course, you guessed it, sugar. And it has been found, strangely enough, not in the studies that are conducted and funded and sponsored by these sports drinks manufacturers, but it has been found that these sports drinks are actually, I should say, tend to be more dehydrating. But there is something else that was found, a study that was conducted with mainly teenagers, actually at an age range from 9 to 15 years old. These are athletes, track, whatever the case may be. It was found that if they consumed a sugary beverage, so a soda, one sugary beverage every day, that they ended up gaining 2 pounds of body fat. Okay? Now, if they drank a sports drink every day, they gained 3.5 pounds of additional body fat. So there is something about these electrolyte sports drinks that really, truly need to be considered. So I hope that you found this information helpful. One of the things that people often ask is, well, how do I know that I am hydrated enough? What can I do in order to ensure that I am hydrated enough? So you've heard, and I've actually said in the past, that, well, you can go by the color of your urine, and that if it isn't really yellow or even tending towards brown, if it's lighter in color, you're probably hydrated enough. But there is actually a far more accurate way of identifying if you are truly hydrated or not. And you simply go to Amazon or a like platform and order what are called urine specific gravity test strips. They're just little test strips, and what they're really doing is that they are testing the density, how many solids, if you will, are in your urine as compared to water. And contrary to what you might think, counterintuitive, is the less dense that your urine is, the less dehydrated you are. So the closer to water you are, the actually less hydrated your body is. So just keep that in mind. So there are specific times in which a person does need to drink more water, and the amount of water that a person needs to drink is different for everyone. Now, there's always been the very old, rule of thumb, half of your optimal body weight in ounces of water. But is that actually true? Well, you'll know if you use those specific gravity urine tests if you are hydrated using that method or not. You might actually find that that's too much water or too little water, and you can adjust it. Or you may find that you just actually need electrolytes, sodium being the main one, in order to help your body truly become hydrated. So point being, the amount of water that a person needs is actually very individualized according to their own physiology and biochemistry and what's happening to them at the moment. However, there are certain aspects that are obvious that you need more fluid, more water. And that is if you're exercising heavily, sweating heavily, if you are outside in the sun working, sweating heavily, you need more fluids. You need to make sure that you're getting enough fluids with the proper electrolytes minus sugar. Now, what about if you're like 99% of the world's population, stays indoors, in the home, office, whatever the case may be? Then you need to go according to your thirst mechanism. And don't bypass that thirst mechanism because it can end up creating problems later on down the road. All right, so that's all I have today. Again, I ask you the question, and now you should have the information to answer it yourself. Are you drowning in water? So it would be doing me a fantastic favor if you would like, share, comment on this video. That helps the algorithm so that more and more people can see it. If you do not like or share or comment on this video, frankly, no one sees it. That's just the way that these platforms are nowadays, at least when it comes to real good natural health information, or really any information that can truly benefit a person. When you see these silly videos that are going around become viral, it's interesting that the information of those typically don't help anyone. But the algorithm picks them up, makes them famous, millions of views, and it doesn't benefit anyone. But the truly benefiting, helpful information, the videos that contain those things, the algorithms do not pick them up. And the only way that we can advance this information is through your help. So I very much appreciate and ask for that. Again, like, comment, share, of course, join our page if you're not already on there, which you probably are if you're watching this video. Once again, my name is Leigh Brunellen. I'm the founder of the Natural Health Clinic. And of course, if you want to optimize your health, you can always give us a call. And that is what I have done professionally for the last 2 decades. Have a great afternoon.